experiencing the shift from tense dinner conversations drenched in deep theology to the tumultuous emotional entanglements of a married couple, I found Severance Season 2's 6th episode, titled Attila, brimming with intriguing elements. Among all the thought-provoking aspects, there were several key takeaways and fresh quandaries that left both Innies and Outies pondering. Here's a rundown of the most significant disclosures and questions posed by Attila. Revelations from Severance Season 2, Episode 6. Attila. Dylan told his colleagues about the testing floor. And if these map any Dylan's interactions with Gretchen, his Outies wife, are helping him maintain his behavior to some extent. But there are limits. Although he hasn't been entirely truthful with his colleagues, he did share details about Irv's hidden blueprint for the testing floor with them. So Helly was prepared to dash off and head there right away. A moment that hints at the possibility of the map having already disappeared, for she believed that's where they had hidden Miss Casey. However, Dylan and Mark weren't particularly keen on leaving immediately too. Yet their reluctance might not last long, as Mark was beginning to perceive his Outies life due to reintegration. Milchick is taking his performance review very seriously. It's evident that Seth Milchick is laying the blame on Miss Fong for the detailed criticism he encountered during his performance evaluation. He's also treating it with great importance. Prior to perfecting his delivery, he invested considerable time arranging paper clips meticulously. By the conclusion of this exercise, he appeared to be delivering a stern motivational speech to himself about the necessity of advancing in order to climb even higher within Lumen. Mr. Milchick's tale has stood out as one of the most captivating and unforeseen during the second season of Yet. Instead of recognizing that Lumen is controlling him through this preposterous performance evaluation, he is wholeheartedly adopting the company. Given his increasing authoritarian approach towards MDR, there's a chance he could grow as malevolent as the yet-to-be-found Harmony Coble. Mark finally told Helly what he did with Helena. Initially, in 1970s, Mark S. hid the truth about his encounter with someone posing as Helly, early referred to as Helena. Later, he admitted to his actions involving Lumen's future CEO. This was another breach of Helly's autonomy by her Outie and proved to be the most damaging. Upon learning this distressing news, Helly reacted by not allowing Helena to take Mark away from her. Instead of dwelling on it, Helly posed a question to Mark, asking if he desired to have intimacy with the genuine Helly. This resulted in a very touching moment within a temporary tent setup in an empty office on a floor that had been severed off during an episode overflowing with romantic entanglements that could turn sour. There was a tender instant, yet it later became problematic for Outie Mark when he found himself asleep next to someone he believed was Helena Egan. Everything Mark is engaged in and the dangers he's taking are centered around his wife Gemma. Now, he must confront the reality that his Innie had sexual relations with a woman who had his supposedly deceased wife, Helena, imprisoned in the basement. Mr. Drummond found Irving's lumen intel. Mr. Drummond, along with his distinctive hand tattoo, unlawfully entered Irv's house, which is owned by Lumen. Inside, they discovered documents related to employees who had been terminated. These papers contained some intriguing handwritten annotations and underlining. Among these notations, Irv had highlighted random letters and names, which caught our attention because it was reminiscent of the car crash that supposedly killed Gemma Scout. A fact worth noting, since she herself was involved in a car accident. What led Drummond to forcefully enter Irv's residence? It appears that Irving is collaborating with someone, but the person he's speaking to at the payphone might be a mole. Furthermore, it's plausible that every payphone in Kier is monitored by Lumon, regardless of Drummond's intentions for investigating an ex-employee. Lumen now has access to the same information as Irving, and unlike us, Drummond likely understands the true significance of those notes.
Helena Egan is a sociopath who pushed Mark to risk his life.
After learning that Helena Egan assumed her identity and had an affair with Mark, Helly expressed, perhaps this is another strategy. Initially, she believed it was a manipulative tactic to weaken NVR and dominate them, but it's now clear that Helena Egan despises herself and her life and harbors jealousy towards her Innie. It seems Helena Egan may also be a sociopath attempting to engage with Mark on an intimate level beyond their shared body. Mark's outie. Her advances became noticeable after Mark finished eating Chinese food. In a composed manner, he handled their encounter effectively, given that the woman he was meeting was keeping his late wife detained at work. However, when reintroduction compelled him to confront the truth that he had previously encountered Helena, it caused him to rush home so Dr. Ragabi could expedite his reintegration by activating his severance chip more quickly. That didn't go so great. Questions from Severance Season 2, Episode 6. Attila, is Mark going to die from reintegration? Mark's life, represented by Attila, concluded dramatically, or more precisely, his reconnected head struck hard against the kitchen floor. Prior to this incident, he was experiencing significant memory loss, which led him to allow Ragabi access to his severance chip. His Innie, or inner consciousness, had also begun noticing changes in his home life. However, the procedure proved to be too overwhelming for Mark, as he lost consciousness and began foaming at the mouth, leaving his terrified sister Devon in shock. Is there a chance that Mark could experience a similar fate as Petey, where he dies but then comes back to life due to intervention from Lumen, like they did with Gemma. Even though Adam Scott's character is central to the show, we're not asking if his character will be permanent, written off, and instead we're curious about the possibility of a resurrection scenario for Mark. Miss Casey and Miss Wong exhibit some unusual behavior. This could be due to the fact that they were both brought back as Innie-only employees by Lumen, having no outie, so external consciousness. It's conceivable that Lumen might attempt a similar procedure with Mark. However, it's more probable that Ragabi will intervene before Mark actually perishes on the ship. Was Mark a good husband to Gemma? At the beginning of the episode, Mark's conversation with Ragabi seemed to hint at a semi-admission from Mark, as he discussed items he was prepared to compromise on in order to reconcile with his wife. This emotionally charged scene has led us to speculate whether Mark's alcohol issues and their consequences may have started prior to his wife's demise. If it turned out that she wasn't at home on the night of the accident, which was fatal for her due to his actions, it would add a layer of harshness to an already tragic tale, as he might have been dealing with both sorrow and guilt throughout this period. Is Bert really a Lumen shill? Bert admitted that he once lived a life of dishonesty so wicked that even his partner doubts if his outer self is worthy of entering heaven. Previously, Bert also deceived Irving by claiming he was let go from Lumen due to a romantic affair. If this were true, he wouldn't have willingly made a cheerful retirement video for his inner self at Lumen. Furthermore, it appears that Bert is not truthful about the length of his employment with Lumen. As records show, his tenure there goes further back than he claims. Additionally, on the same night Bert was spinning these tales, Mr. Drummond found it convenient to burglarize Irving's home and search for confidential information hidden there. It seems there's strong suspicion that Bert is covertly working for Lumen, possibly acting as a spy. Could it be that his actions, which have been detrimental to the greater good due to their association with an unscrupulous company, will forever brand him as a sinner? The accumulated evidence certainly hints at this, even before the ominous final scene where he watched Irving depart. Is Lumen really going to destroy Dylan and Gretchen's marriage? At times I find myself questioning whether everything is okay with you. Given the troubling signs of a relationship's potential deterioration due to external factors, such as Wumon's actions, with Dylan G, Gretchen appears to be emotionally and physically betraying her own husband, even as she's doing so with the very same man, her husband. This deception is causing dishonesty within her home with her actual spouse, which seems to be eroding what was once a loving marriage. Will it truly come to pass that Lumen seeks to govern Dylan G, causing a rift within his family, all for the sake of Cold Harbor? Here's hoping it doesn't, as this plot development is particularly challenging to witness. If Helena Helly gets pregnant, who's the baby's mother? This episode of poses some incredibly intriguing and thought-provoking questions concerning the nature of the human soul. However, an issue that may surface in the near future piques our curiosity. If Helena, Heli R, becomes pregnant with Mark's child, which character will be considered the mother? Let's refrain from jumping to conclusions just in case things don't pan out. But we're confident that this event will occur, correct? If it does, there's no doubt who among them we would prefer to be granted parental rights. A hint, it won't be the psychopath. Mikey Walsh, an author at Top Mob, finds himself unsure of the function of his role. Keep up with him on Blue Sky at Birder Mike or wherever rankings of the Targaryen rulers are being made. That